Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, salutations, greetings, and hello to YouTube. As always, I am Shunrin, aka the friggin' Iron Man, and absolutely thrilled to be doing yet another video. And we have a slight issue here because I have lost my toolbar. Holy crap. Let me shift this screen around a little bit here, guys. I gotta find it. There we go. Whoa. Holy crap. That's going to be fun watching that in the video post. But hey, we got it going now. Welcome back for another edition of my Build Spotlight series, my brand new series on making awesome builds for entire setups, not just typical tutorials, but all about the metagame, all about getting sustainable systems going. I like to spotlight entire builds, as everyone should know by now, and if you don't, go back and watch my other 3 videos. We are rocking and rolling, and today I've got 2 things I want to cover, and this is all about power. We're continuing our trend here. I am going to be showing you a couple different alternatives to a few things today. The last couple of videos we've gotten our cart-powered tree farms going, and they are rocking and rolling as always. We've gotten our applied energistics setup going over here, which is maintaining our 2 boilers over there. And everything is looking fantastic so far. I'm actually pretty happy with the way things have turned out here. A few things I might want to do differently in the future, but hey, everything's going. It's not bad for a first-time video. Today, we're going to cover a couple of different engine setups. I think we'll do the engines first, and then we'll do... No, we need to do the fuel first. So let's get that rocking and rolling. I'm just going to be loading everything as always to show how to do things. So if you're looking forward to me actually playing through, you're going to be pretty sour about that lack of playthrough, because that's not what we're here to do. If I get enough interest, I'll do a playthrough. I've always been interested in doing like a hardcore Let's Play. There's tons of Let's Plays out there. I think it'd be fun to do a hardcore one. Maybe we'll get that set up in the future, but for now we're just going to do it this way. And so we're going to get the sustainable fuel source set up first. I'm not talking biofuel, because we got biofuel over here already. That was part of the boiler setup in episode 2. And you can see our setup going here, making us plenty of biofuel. We have so much biofuel going on, it's not even funny. And so I'm talking about just regular fuel, as in refining oil. So we're going to get that going today. And the sustainable way that you're going to be seeing it, as you might have guessed from the way I zoomed the camera in here in the beginning, is bees. And that's going to be the most sustainable way to get it. You can go and pump oil wells if you feel like moving your pump around all the time, but that gets to be a huge headache really fast. So I'm going to be showing you the bees. Now this is not going to be a bee tutorial. Anybody that wants to see a bee tutorial, bees aren't really my thing. I like bees. I think they're awesome for what they do. I'm just not that into the bee scene. Like, I like bees for 2 specific reasons. One of them is the oil. And that's what I'm going to be showing you. This is going to be a quick down and dirty how to get that set up to get what you need. So these are the 2 hives you're going to want to go for first. And these are the 2 most common hives, luckily. One's a meadow. The orange one on the left side here is a meadows hive. The white one on the right is a forest hive. You want to find them both. You'll get yourself a scoop, which is really, really easy to craft. It's just going to be, what is this, 5, 6 sticks? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6 sticks and 1 wool of any color will get you a scoop. And you just use the scoop on the hive. Zabow, zabow, and you'll get your bees. And you're going to get yourself a couple of forest ones and a couple of meadows ones. You might even get yourself a honeycomb. If you do, you can hang on to that guy. That'll get you something a little later on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make yourself a couple of... wow, mind blank. Holy tits. Oh, don't you just love mind blanks when you're talking along and right on the edge of your tongue something just sticks and you just can't spit it out? Apiaries is what I'm trying to talk about. Those are pretty easy to get a hold of. What you do is, I'm going to make the bees... No, well, where do you want to set these guys up? This is fine. We'll just go with this. This should work. Apiaries are pretty easy to make. What you do is you take 3 planks, or 3 wood slabs of any kind, and 5 planks around an impregnated casing. The impregnated casing is you make a carpenter machine, and you put 8 logs in there like so. You need a little bit of seed oil, which you squeeze out of seeds with a squeezer. And I'm not going to cover that too much. but we are going to want to set those up. You can also get these apiaries by trading from villagers. If you're running around, you find an NPC, default NPC town, they trade for these, for emeralds usually, I think, or some other form of something. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set down a few of these. I'm just going to set them down really fast here just to show you guys how to do this. You drop the apiary down, and if you take one princess and one drone of each type, they will mate together. So you go pow, and you go pow, and that's 2 meadows. And you see the bar start to fill up, and once the bar gets full, they mate together. And if you mate the same 2 types, like a meadows princess and a meadows drone together, you'll get a meadows production. So what you want to do is you want to start working towards crossbreeding these guys so that you can get the random mutations you need for what we're going to do. So you're going to go with forest drone and a forest princess, and the bar will fill up. Bonk, and then you get the meadows queen. You'll get the queen of whatever the princess was. So if we drop another one down right here, and we do this, then whereas we got the meadows queen because it was the meadows princess and the forest drone, here we get the forest queen because it was the forest princess and the meadows drone. And they'll do their thing. And the apiaries will tell you if there's not what they want in there. And by that I mean they like to have a certain temperature tolerance, certain climate, certain this, certain that, so on and so forth. Again, I'm not really going to get into that. This isn't going to be specifically a bee breeding thing. This is just going to be about how to set up the sustainable oil. And for that, we already got everything we need right here. So we'll show you as you go. I'm going to break these because we actually don't want these going right now. Again, I'm just going to load in what we need so that you can see how to do this. The first thing I'm going to get is an imprinter, which you can't make in the game. It's a cheat item only. If you click on this, look, it says, "You cheater!" You load this in for cheating purposes only, or for creative mode stuff, so you won't have access to this in regular gameplay. And I'm only using it for demonstration purposes, as always with this game, so I'm not actually playing through, so don't shout at me for cheating, because I'm actually not going to care. But it's going to help us along our lines here, so if you try to make one, you're going to be sour. But the quickest way to do this is I'm just going to show you guys how to imprint these. I'm also going to grab a, what's it called? No, it's not the analyzer. There's a device. Oh, what's it called? Indexer, I think. Nah, well, the index, no, that's not it either. Database? Yeah, okay. So this is the cheat one. This is a floor in a box. This is another item you can't make, but I'm only going to use it to show you guys exactly how to do these things here. We are going to be going for an oily bee. It's an extra bees bee. It's not one in regular forestry, so you actually need the mod for extra bees as well as forestry in order to get a hold of this. And you scroll down here, and I'm just going to scroll down here to find the bee that we're looking for. Oily. And we can click on the button over here. This shows us climate resultant mutations. And you really don't need to get that far. As you can see here, to get an oily bee, it's just going to be a modest and a primeval bee. And then you can click on these guys. A primeval is going to be an ancient and a noble. Gives you the possibility of getting the primeval guy. And the modest guy is just a desert bee. So you got to go out to the desert to find a hive. Use your scoop, just like I did with the meadows and forest. So he's just a base bee. So you're really looking to go up this chain. So you need primeval, which is resultant from ancient and noble. Noble is just along the normal path. So you take your cultivated, and then you take your common and your forest, your common and your meadows, any of the base bees, and a common. Common is resultant of any crossbreed. So we just now set up our forest and meadows. You saw me doing that in the apiary just now, right? So that's not too hard to get going either. Noble is also up the chain, so noble and diligent. Noble and ancient get you your primeval. Yeah. Ancient is noble and diligent. Diligent comes from common and cultivated. Yeah. So really, you just got to cross a bunch of bees. And we're looking at nighttime again, so fantastic. So really, you just cross a bunch of bees. If you put these guys in here, and you let these guys mate, like we did a few minutes ago, and they go up the ladder and they breed. Eventually, as you breed those guys, you're going to get a cross between You're going to get a cross between, it's going to be like a hybrid and forest. It's going to be a hybrid of forest and meadows. Wow, all kinds of speaking fails today. And you'll know that because you need to make your bee Elizer, which is this guy right here. And you hope you get some of these honeycombs in there because you put these through a machine called a... Oh, come on. Oh, that was how to make the chest. Fantastic. You put these through a machine called a centrifuge, and you get these honey drops. 90% chance to get in one of those, and you get beeswax out of these honeycombs. And so what you got to do is you got to get a couple of those going on. There we go. So when you analyze a bee, you stick your honey in there and you stick your bee in there, and it'll consume one and it'll tell you all about him. You can see that this guy is just a normal forest. He's just normal, he's got no extra attributes, he's just straight forest. When you combine a forest and a meadows, or any two bees really in the apiary, it will tell you hybrid, and it will tell you what it's a hybrid of. And so what you do is you take your hybrid, and if you cross it enough times, you get a chance of mutation. So if you cross your forest and your meadows together, let me actually just get a drone here. I'm going to get one of you, I'm going to get one of you, and we're going to come over here to our imprinter. So if you cross your forest and your meadows together, you're going to eventually get a common drone and common princess. And so what you do is you breed them together. They'll be hybrids when you first get them, obviously, because they mutated into that. And then you breed two of them together to purify them, so you get the pure breed of both. And then you breed your common with either one of the forest or meadows again, and you can mutate them into the cultivated. Then you breed a cultivated and a common together, and you go up the chain, you get noble, and that's one of the ones we needed, you remember, for the chain, to get the oily bee. And then you keep going up the chain, you'll get majestic, you'll get imperial, you get diligent, and you just keep going up the chain. Eventually what you're going to do is you do exactly what I showed you with that database. You can make the regular database. The regular apiaries database is just bees that you have gotten a hold of. You can actually make that in-game. This database is the cheat database that I mentioned before. But to get the oily bee, just going to show you guys one last time, or you can rewind the video if you didn't quite catch everything I was saying. Oh wow, there we go. So as I was showing you before, you get the modest and the primeval will get you the oily. The modest is not that far up. Modest, as I said, is the desert bee. You just got to get that guy out of there. Primeval gets you ancient and noble. Noble's only a resultant of a few breeds up. So you go common, then you go cultivated, and then I'm forgetting the next one, and then it's noble after that, and then ancient. And then ancient's a simple result of a noble and a diligent. So you need noble for both those two steps. Diligent comes from cultivated and common. So it's not that far up the steps. Really, you're just looking for the mutation. So just keep breeding until you get the mutations that you need. It's not that far up there, and eventually you'll get the oily bee. So I'm just going to go ahead and cheat some oily bees in, just for the purpose of showing you how to get the setup you're looking for. This is a really easy thing to do. You just got to get those mutations early on. And because they run off of really early mutations and really easy to get setup bees, then it's really not that hard to get going pretty early on in the game. So let me find this oily here. While I'm looking to get these bees set up, by the way, guys, I want to share you a really hilarious story really quick here. I was just recently let in on a 5-year-old joke. And by 5-year-old, I mean that's as long as I was exposed to it. I'm sure the joke has been around longer than that, for probably eons. I was unaware of something, and before I offend anybody, let me, with this hilarious story here, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for offending people. I just think that if you're going to offend somebody, you should do it intelligently and with a purpose and with a lot of comical effect. So, I'm, just want to clarify before I say anything here about it, is that I'm not telling anybody any of this to be offensive, just purely for the sake of the story, because I was basically had the wool pulled over my eyes for like 5 years. So, two of my absolute favorite YouTube presences, aside from myself, of course, right? They do some game casting. They have their own YouTube setup. I'm not going to mention them by name or anything because I didn't actually get permission to do that. If they watch and they see this, then they think it's hilarious, then maybe I'll mention it later on. It's later on video. But they're Canadian, and it's really hilarious because I've actually been talking to one of them recently, and things have gotten pretty awesome. But in their videos that they do, they say, that they say they're Canadian, and they say, we hail from the fantastic city of Canuckville, Canada. And I was trying to look up something about the city at one point. I was trying to figure out what time zone that city was in, and I was going through a bunch of hilarious states and trying to figure things out and so on and so forth. And because I wanted to find out what time they'd be around and stuff like that, I want to know what the time difference between my city is. I live in the States in Pacific time zone, so I wanted to try to find. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted to try to find the difference between our times, basically. And I thought it was really hilarious when I found this out. But it turns out, you guys know that Canuckville, Canada, is not a real place. I had no idea. It's been 5 years I've been watching these guys on YouTube. They've been saying it the whole time. No, never has anybody ever clarified that that's not a real place. I thought it was. I didn't realize that Canuck was, like, I never had any idea. I did not know that Canuck was basically the United States version of a hick. I didn't realize that's what that meant. Maybe I'm even completely wrong on exactly what it means, but I didn't realize it was slang term for a Canadian, basically, that lives in the middle of nowhere. So I had no idea. I honestly believed it was an actual city in somebody's actual place. And so I was on the internet later on trying to find information for Canuckville, Canada. And I had no idea that it wasn't a real place. And I've been giggling about it all day. I mean, seriously, like, it's just been super funny, and I just could not believe it when I found out. Oh, man. It's like, and that tells me the level of hilariousness that they're on. It's like, I've always thought I've had a pretty similar sense of humor as these guys, but it turns out I've been missing a basic joke this entire time, and it makes me appreciate it. So it's like one of those times where it's like you've been exposed to a joke for a long, long time, and you didn't realize it was a joke, and then suddenly you do, and then it's hilarious, and that's just, I don't know, it's where I've been at all morning. It's just hilarious to me. Anyway, that completely aside, I hope they do watch this, and I hope they find it as hilarious as I do. But as you guys can see, I've been just getting these apiaries set up for bee breeding. We're going to drop the oily bees in here. So once you get a few of these going, obviously when you first get the mutations, you're only going to have a couple of them at first. But every time you breed the bees, they will reproduce a couple of extra drones. So you'll have a couple of extra drones sitting around. And then eventually what you can do is, once you get to a really heightened state of bee breeding, you can use a couple of machines to take the species imprinting once you get high enough into the extra bee stuff, and you can just make them artificially through genetics. And like I said, I'm not the best person to ask about bee stuff, so I just know how to get set up what I want to get set up, so that's what we're doing here. We don't need the rest of these guys. So, there's your basic setup. You probably don't even need 8. Or you probably don't need 2 lines of 8. You could probably do 1 line of 8. As you can see right here, I've got going on my 2 lines of 8. 16 total apiaries. And then here's how there's 2 ways to do this. You know what, I'm going to get rid of those guys in a minute here. We're not using them. There's 2 ways to do this setup here. You can have piping, or you can do the applied energistics. I'm going to stick with applied energistics just because that's what I've been using so far. So let me grab the export bus, our import bus, and our cable, because that's what we got set up over here with our farm. We'll connect that too. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a export bus on top of every one of these apiaries. Bonk, bonk. Whoops. I guess I could stop the bouncing around and just, calmly and slowly walk along the lines here. Fantastic. There we go. And then we're going to put an export or an import bus underneath of each one of these. And there's APRS pipes you can use for this that they specifically designed for use in doing B stuff. But this is just easier for me, just because we already have, from the previous videos, we already have an applied energistics setup over there. And the applied energistics is just so delicious for messing with stuff and for self-managing systems that there's really not a lot of reason not to do it, honestly. So export bus on top, import bus underneath. And I'm actually going to drag these all the way over here like this. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. You don't need to go all the way underneath either. You can just connect these up the sides like this, or even along here if you wanted to. But I'm doing it for the aesthetic purposes here as well as the functional. So we're just going to connect all these up underground. So let me ask you guys another quick question. Is it too late, or is it too early on in the series for embarrassing stories? Because I got one. If you don't want to hear an embarrassing story from me, then go ahead and zoom ahead a few minutes or a few moments in the video, because I'm just going to take a few minutes while I set up the rest of this cabling to tell you this embarrassing story. You can always mute the video until you see me finish the cabling. I'll be done by the time I finish cabling here. So basically, I get up every day at early on in the morning, around 7:30, and I make my fiance, pour my fiance some cereal, and that way to facilitate the getting up process of getting ready for work and stuff. What else? Not like that. And usually, what happens is we stay up pretty late in the evening time, and so usually, pretty typically, lateness happens, and so I don't actually stay up. I just roll out of bed in the morning, make cereal, and then I go, wake up fiance with cereal, and then usually I lay back down. So this morning, I go to get ready to do said laying down, and I decide that I'm going to go to the bathroom first. And that sounds like a simple enough thing, but this morning, I don't know, everybody's probably had that instance where they were going, to the bathroom after getting up, and you realize that you've been sleeping on your arm all night. And I had that this morning. I woke up, my entire left arm was numb. And I mean numb. Like completely and totally, just like I couldn't feel the thing. I had just enough feeling to realize I didn't have any feeling, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, obviously my arm was tingling, so I could tell if there was pressure, if I was holding on to something or not. But I couldn't feel anything beyond that. So the part that was really hilarious to me is that I went to go to the bathroom this morning, and I had my numb arm. I'd been sleeping on it funny, I guess, and I went to use the restroom. Go into the bathroom, and everybody's got that comfortable way that they hold themselves when they're going to the bathroom, or at least guys do. I'm not sure how it works for girls, but guys, they go and they you whip out your D, and you're standing at the toilet, and you're getting ready to take a leak. And they've got their one comfort way that they do that. And for me, it just didn't work out this morning because my arm was numb. I had my left arm. And I could tell I was holding on to something because I could feel the pressure, but I couldn't tell what it was that I was holding on to. It turns out that I just had a wrinkle of my underwear. And my D, I was just kind of rolled over in a fold of my underwear, and the fold was tricking me briefly in my half-asleep sleep, so I thought I had myself. And the first indication I had that something was wrong was splatters on my legs. You get the tingling, you get the sound of the bathroom going. You get the sound going from the stream connecting other liquid when it starts hitting the water underneath, right? And so I didn't get that sound, but I was too asleep. I didn't realize it, and of course I instantly, it was a horrible time. Oh man, so much fail on that one. But anyway, if you whipped forward here, skipped my embarrassing story, I hope you didn't because it was embarrassing and hilarious. But if you did, I'm just about done with the wiring here. Alright, so I'm actually going to bring these down. Let's see, there we go. Oh, wait. Let's do it that way. Okay, so we're going to connect these up. Guess we're going to have to go down a couple levels here. There we go. So, you wouldn't normally have such a long string of cable. Obviously, you would usually have some sort of system set up so you didn't have such a gigantic long cable because, you know, our applied energistics setup is way over there. But it's connected, so it's fine. So normally you wouldn't do that. But hey, it's alright. But now it's getting power and all that kind of good stuff too, so, you know, more's the better. And it's got access to our storage chests, which is really the goal here. They also have APRS chests you can use, but again, since we already have an applied energistics setup from a different episode, then I might as well just use it. So that's fine. And you know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come over here really quick, I think. Yeah, let's just dig down right here really quick. We'll bring this up here. And I'm going to set up really quick a ME access terminal. There we go. And if you want to see how to make all this applied energistics stuff that I'm doing here, go back and watch the previous video. I'm going to just keep plugging my videos, guys. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Previous video, I show you all this applied energistics stuff. And now we can see everything that's in the system here. Have our bees not finished breeding? Oh, what are they? Oh, there's no flowers. Really? Oh, there's flowers up here for these guys. Aren't there? No? Wow. Fail. Flower. Just put a flower next to each of these guys there. And then what's going to happen is the bees will do their breeding thing. Hello? Not finding the right flowers. Oh, yeah, they are. They just need a few seconds to update there. There we go. So, now that we've gotten the bees breeding the way that they should be breeding, everything is all fantastic and happy-go-lucky and hunky-dory and wonderful times, whatever you want to call it, whatever terminology we want to use, we're looking good now. So, all that's really left to do is to wait for these guys to breed up, and that will happen shortly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use our applied energistics to keep them apiary stocked. You could do this again with regular apiary pipes and things like that, but that's one of the reasons we got these import buses and everything going on here. So let me wait for one of these guys to finish up. And while we're waiting on that, I'm going to grab a... We're going to come over here, I think. And we're going to get a couple machines here. We're going to get our centrifuge. We're going to get a squeezer. I think that should be all we need. And we're going to come over here back to our applied energistics setup as we've had going this whole time. And let's see, we're going to need one of each. So we're going to do centrifuge. I'm just going to set it up against this whole setup over here, back and behind. And squeezer. Whoop, there we go. And again, I'm going to grab my cabling and my buses. And we're going to do export bus on top, as always. And import bus underneath. Cabling between. There we go. And these guys are going to need power, and we already have our power output energy tesseract that's making power from our steam engines over there, so I'm just going to grab some conduits. Conduits and tesseracts, all this other stuff I've covered in previous videos as well. So if you need to know how to make those, go check those out. Definitely a good watch. There we go. Give that a wrench so that it points outwards. So now these guys should have power. Squeezer, yep, we're all looking good there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up another tank. Probably need 2 tanks, actually. So let's see, what should we make these other 2 tanks out of, guys? We need 2 tanks to get this setup going on over here. We did diamond blocks out of those ones because it doesn't matter what you make the tanks out of, if you'll recall. So let's do gold blocks for one of them. No, you know what? Let's keep the gem block going on. How's that sound? So let's do we'll do a couple gems for the other tanks here. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to get rid of the hill right here really quick so we can make tanks right here. And you don't really need to know how to do this. Make these. This is called a filler machine. Filler is actually pretty easy to make, but you don't need to actually know how to make one for the purposes of this video anyway. I'll show you anyway. Why not? 2 gold gears, a chest, crafting table, landmark, 2 ink, and 2 dandelion yellow. There you go. Landmark torch is a lapis lazuli over a redstone torch, which is a stick and a redstone. Pretty easy stuff. Not anything that you really have to worry about making too much. Why am I getting so much lag in my computer, man? Normally we don't lag so much. That should help. Okay. Oh yeah, instant help. Glass. Whoop. And a redstone cell. There we go. So let's see, what else? What other blocks can we get? We're gonna do. Let's stick with the gem blocks. We did diamond for that tank. Let's do ruby and green sapphire. That sounds good. There we go. Clear that out really quick. Did I hang out on my viewers? I did. Wow, look at that. Fantastic. So we're going to make a couple of tanks while those bees get going over there. They're just doing their breeding thing. We should have a couple bees out of there pretty soon. So let's do green for the oil, I think, because that should look good. Green and black, and then we'll do red and yellow for the fuel. Does that sound good, guys? So let's do that. And I'm going to let's start this one corner right there. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Sorry guys, this is the somewhat boring part here. Tanks are pretty boring things to build. And I've mentioned in other videos that I don't like to cut things because there's some people that, you know, whoa, not what we wanted to happen down there. Man, be careful with that wand of equal trade, guys. I'm telling you what. And it doesn't matter that it did that, but you know, I'm OCD and insane, so Give me 1 second to fix that really quick. Yeah, I would cut the video briefly while I do this tank, but I'm one of those guys that likes to see everything, and not everybody likes to have things. You know what? I'm building 2 tanks, though. That's going to be boring as hell. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to build this tank here, and we're going to build the fuel tank, I think, right over here where I cleared this out. So just going to be 2 tanks right next to each other. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead actually and cut the video just briefly. I don't like to do it, but I don't want to waste everybody's time either. We've already had really long videos. We're already at the 30-minute mark on this one, 35-minute mark. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it, and I'll be right back, guys. Alrighty, boys and girls, welcome back. We've finished our tanks, and bees have gotten progressively... Oh, nice. Bees have gotten progressively finished, so I'm going to show you those next. And as you can see, we set up our couple tanks right next to our Applied Energistics setup over here. We got our green sapphire tank and our ruby tank to match our diamond tank, because, you know, might as well stick with the gems. Feel all fancy like. It's all fancy. It's all fancy. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go check on our bees over here. And I set down a chest over here and formatted a storage chip really quick. I loaded this in. This is the best type of storage chip possible. This one's pretty expensive. You go with the storage cluster with 3 redstone, 3 iron, and 2 glass. The cluster is made out of an advanced processor, ME processor, and 3 of these storage blocks, 4 glowstone and glass. The advanced processor is a smelted assembly, which is a diamond, a silicon, and a cutting knife. The cutting knife is a tool, much like the handsaw. 2 quartz, 2 sticks, and a iron. And then the silicon is going to be just smelted quartz dust, which you get from mining quartz or just from smelting crystal, or pulverizing crystal, or macerating quartz crystal. And then the storage blocks for the cluster you need are made out of, it's the exact same recipe, but storage segments, which are made out of storage cells, and a basic and redstone instead of an advanced. The basic is the same as the advanced, except for it's gold instead of diamond in the center here. And then the storage cell is going to be a basic processor and for crystal. But anyway, the whole point of me putting the big one in there is because, well, who doesn't put the big one in there? And no, sorry, seriously, the storage chip is because right now we got 15 princesses and 31 drones, because we got 2 drones and 1 princess for each of the apiaries that we got 16 of set up, right? So it's a 2-in-1 ratio, and just the 31 of those and the 15 of those guys. Look at how much data that uses. 1,030 bytes out of 65,000 bytes. Bees take up quite a bit of room. But again, this is a self-managing system with the Applied Energistics. If you used pipes and apiarist chests, you could do that as well. The reason I didn't is because, well, number 1, we already have the Applied Energistics setup over there going as it is. But number 2, the apiarist pipe is what you would need for sorting these guys. But the apiarist's pipe is made out of a diamond pipe and 2 propolis. You get a propolis out of centrifuging various things, most notably of which is the honey drop. If you put the honey drop in... Oh, no, that's a squeezer, I'm sorry. There we go. If you squeeze a honey drop or any other type of propolis, you have a chance of getting the propolis. So like this is an oily propolis, gives you regular propolis. So you need to have propolis before you can make the apiarist pipe, but you know, you need the apiarist pipe to filter the bees to get the propolis. So you end up in a catch-22. So really, if you just do it this way, this is probably the easiest way if you already have an Applied Energistics setup anyway. Or you can use the piping. You don't even have to have the apiarist piping, it just makes it way less complicated if you do. So what we're going to do with these guys is we're going to come over here like so, and we're going to get down here, and we're going to tell this guy, let's see, active without signal, always active, okay. Stack single items, stacks of items, move single items. Yeah. If we put a drone in here, though, we're going to get all the drones. Oh, you know what? I'm being complete moron. We don't want that down there. We want them up here. Whoops. Yeah, he's going to put all of them all day long. That's not going to be what we want. Stacks of items, single item craft, always craft items, move single item. I swear there was a way to look into this to try to move only one at a time. Interesting. You know what? I know there's a way to do this, and I'm just not thinking about it off the top of my head. I'm being a moron. I hate to do this twice in one video, guys. I'm sorry, but let me pause really quick. I'll be back in a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that I've had a few technical difficulties of some kind here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on quite yet. I'm going to take a few moments off camera to figure this shenanigans out, and once I do, I'll be right back with your regularly scheduled, well, shenanigans. Thanks for your patience. It'll only be a few seconds off camera. Alright guys, I'm not really sure exactly what happened there. Had some sort of a little bit of a technical mishap while I was working off camera. Just trying to get this all set up and going here. I have discovered the way to do it exactly right though. Just going to go with a little bit of a blend of what I had going on before. Had a big crash in my video recording system there while I was trying to get things going. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set this up exactly how I have found it seems to be the best way to do this. I need to reformat my chip because I lost it. I'm going to put in here oily bees, and I'm going to tell it to take princesses and drones. Format, take that chip, drop it in there. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and go with the piping system, but it's going to pipe in the end into our applied energistics system. And the reason we're doing it this way is because, as we saw a few moments ago in the video, if you do that setup I was doing where you do the auto-arcade gate to detect if it's missing a princess, it can put the princess in there faster than the drone, and the gate turns off and you get stuck. You have to come over here and mess with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the overflow system, but I've long since known a way to deal with that, so let's get the piping going here. And I'm actually going to show the easiest way to do this without the auto-arcade gates, because those require power. So we're going to put wooden pipes underneath of all these guys, like so. Actually, I'm going to stick these up here for the time being. So we'll get our wooden pipes going here. And you'll want a wooden pipe underneath of each apiary. Don't know why I'm filling this grass in. I'm going to be digging it out for the engine in a moment here. But that's alright. Makes it easier for placing. Whoops. That was weird. Get our wooden pipe. And then what we're going to do is we are going to grab our other pipes. We're going to need gold pipes and iron pipes. And we're going to need insertion pipes here. And diamond pipes, I think. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to put a diamond pipe next to each wooden pipe. And you notice I took the flowers, instead of putting on the side, I put it between each of the two of them. One flower can, hit every apiary around it. So we're going to put a diamond pipe on each of these, because we don't actually need the apiarist pipe for this. We can just do it this way. And then what we're going to do is, actually, you know what? Let's do this all underground, because that's how we make things look really nice. Actually, wait a second. Now, if we put the diamond pipe underneath, we still have to put the engine somewhere. No, it's fine. We'll just put this here. So we'll put the diamond pipes like so against the wooden pipes, right? And then we're going to put an iron pipe like so. Put one iron pipe there to connect each of these. Okay, and then we're going to have a gold pipe. Gold pipe's going to go right in there. And that's our ME chest, and this is the one that's going to hold our bees. And I'm actually going to need to connect this up with a cabling to over here, so it can get power and connect to the rest of the system. So that's looking good. This is normally a little bit more exposed than I like to usually make things, but just because there's going to be so much piping involved in this, it's not really avoidable in terms of making a mess. You're going to have to make a little bit of mess with this just because it's a fully automated system. But hey, such is the hazards of the Minecrafting. So you get the iron pipes here, you're going to whack these with the wrench. And of course, these are made like any other pipes. You take 2 of whatever type of material you're making. So if it's an iron pipe, you need 2 iron bars. If it's a gold pipe, you need 2 golden bars. A diamond pipe, 2 diamonds, and then you take 1 piece of glass in between each of those to make your pipes. You get 8 pipes out of each recipe. So this is how we're doing this. And then what we're going to do here is, because these are going to be our oily bees, let me go grab these out of here. Since these are oily bees, this is going to be our oily bee setup. We're not going to put any other types of bees in here at any point, right? So that's why we're going to go ahead and just use the diamond pipes instead of the apiaries pipe. And they're going to give us sometimes ancient combs and sometimes oily combs, as you can see right there, as I pull these out of here. So we're going to just grab all of our bees, make sure there's no bees in any of these. Bees in any of these. It rhymed. Okay. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab each of these diamond pipes, and we're going to tell this, oh, you know what, we're going to want sandstone pipes too. Sandstone pipes is 2 sandstone around a glass. And we're going to tell each one of these diamond pipes that sandstone's going up. That's the white side of the diamond pipe that you can see there. See, this is the red side, this is the blue side. So anything put in those sides is going to go back up the pipe in any way, depending on the way it comes down. So we're going to tell this white side we want to have oily princesses, and we want to have 1 oily drone, like so. Okay? So it'll send oily princesses and oily drones up the white side, and it's going to go up the sandstone pipe. And you're going to put an insertion pipe like so. Okay? The insertion pipe is made a little bit differently than normal pipes. It is made by taking 1 cobblestone pipe and 1 redstone. Okay? So you make 8 of these, and you get some redstone on there, and then you get the insertion pipe. And the way that the insertion pipe works is if it can place something successfully, it can detect the inventory. And if there's room for that item, it will place it in that inventory. If there's not room for that item, it will set it on down its line. Okay? And what I mean by down the line is, if there's another pipe connected to it, it'll continue to set it on down. And I'll show you how that's going to work here in just a second. So we're going to go sandstone. The reason we're using sandstone pipes right there is because sandstone does not connect to other inventories. So if you see, if I put a gold pipe right there, it'll connect to the apiary on the side. We don't want to pipe things into the side of it, so we're going to put a sandstone there instead. Insertion. Gold. Insertion. Whoops. Sandstone, gold, insertion. Oh, this takes forever. Too bad I don't know any good jokes that I can't just tell off at my expense as we go here. Let's do it this way. There we go. Insertion there, yeah. That looks good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wrap these around. So what I mean by sending on down the line with the insertion pipes is we're going to put another gold pipe right here. Ahem. We're going to put another gold pipe right there. So it's going to come up, and it's going to try to insert into the apiary. And if it can't go into the apiary, it's going to send it back onto this gold pipe. And for this, we're going to go down here. This is why I wanted to do the applied energistics setting, people, because this is going to get a little messy. Oh, you know what? I got an idea. Let's grab another pipe here. There we go, wooden pipe. So we're going to go sandstone. And then we're going to go wooden pipe right here. Wooden pipes can act like regular transport pipes. They're the only pipes that can pull out of an inventory, but they can also act like regular transport pipes. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go down. Like that. See? And the reason why we're doing it this way is because the wooden pipes, they can still act like regular transport pipes, but they won't touch each other. So this wooden pipe will not connect to this wooden pipe. Right? It's kind of like the stone and cobblestone transport pipes won't connect to each other. These two wooden pipes will not touch each other. So I can run this down here, sandstone so it won't connect here, wooden so it won't connect to that wooden pipe, and then come over here, and then come up the line, and it will go into this iron pipe, which will send it only this way. Because the iron pipes, the reason why you wrench them so the clear side faces down this middle line is so that if something enters this pipe, it can't go to the left and it can't go to the right because those sides are solid. See that? This side is a little bit solid. This side is a little bit solid, but this is clear so things can go that way. So what's going to happen is the bees will breed. Everything will come out here. The wooden pipe is going to pull everything out and send them on down the line. And this diamond pipe is going to catch the bees and send the bees up. Everything else will get sent to the blue line and go out that way. And everything else, meaning these two ancient comb and oily combs, will come out this way. Okay? Now, the ancient combs and oily combs will go on down the line. The bees will come up, try to insert back into the apiary to keep it full of bees so that it can start breeding again. And if there's too many drones in here, for example, those will get sent back out the pipe and down this way, and those will come back up. And see, it's just one nice big continuous system here. And then once it hits down here, only bees can go in here. So the oily combs will hit the system, but it won't be put in this specific chest because it can't take them in this specific chest. I don't believe, anyway. You know what, just in case, let's go ahead and stick another chest right here. As I've always said, per my normal adage in Minecraft, better to overdo than underdo, right, guys? And again, you can use any chip here. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the insertion pipes. Put an insertion pipe right here. That way, if bees can't go, if anything besides bees can't go in there, it'll just go over here. So again, insertion pipes, nice and down the line. So now I have to do this to all other 15 of these apiaries. So I'm going to pause one more time, guys. I hate having to pause because I know everybody likes to see these, but I think this video is getting really long. So let me just go ahead and pause one more time. I'll do this, and I'll come back when I'm ready to do the engines. One sec, guys. Alright, guys. We're back with all this crazy piping. This is what I was trying to avoid when I was trying to do the applied energistics system, just so you can see it all in action. Pretty terrible, isn't it? So yeah, we're just trying to get this all finished up here, and I actually just realized I forgot to do the bees in each of these pipes here, so I'm going to do that really quick here. Shouldn't take but a moment. So basically the way this crazy piping system is going to work out is it's going to keep these apiaries filled up with bees, so the bees will always be breeding. That way you can continue to get your oily combs, which is what's going to give us our sustainable fuel. And the reason why we're showing you sustainable fuel is because in the second episode when I did the liquid-fueled boiler, we got the biomass set up to ferment into biofuel, so we could use biofuel for our liquid boiler over there. And while that is a delicious, amazing way to do it, it does require a good bit of power in order to supply those boilers and fermenters. Or not boilers or fermenters, but the fermenters and the stills, rather. You need a good bit of power in order to do that. And, you might not have a good bit of power early on in the game. And doing the bee thing really just requires some pipes and some bees. You just need to get the apiary set up, especially if you find an NPC village which you can trade apiaries from right off in the beginning. Get you apiaries really quickly. This is something that you can do fairly early in the game. I know most of everything I do is sustainable metagame stuff and late game stuff, but you know, as far as systems, this gets you fuel really fast. It doesn't take a whole lot of bee breeding, just some random mutations get going through some breeding in order to get this set up and running. So it's something that I wanted to show everybody. This is something you do fairly early on. It doesn't require a lot of power, because the apiaries don't take power in order to run. At least they don't as of Minecraft 1.4.7, which I'm still running on because I haven't updated yet, because I'm still waiting on a couple of my favorite mods to update to 1.4.7. You know, but once they do, then I will update as well. We'll see if it does. But apiaries don't take power to breed bees. You just need a little bit of power in order to squeeze the combs. So it's, instead of having, you know, 4 fermenters and how many stills do I have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of 4 fermenters and 8 stills powering all those, you're going to be running off of a squeezer so that you can get your oil out of it, and then running off of some refineries to refine the oil into fuel. So I end up putting the chests down here like this, so that all the combs, the ancient combs, the oily combs, is going to come down this center line, and then this is where all the bees, this is the bee chest, is going to end up down here. And the way I ended up doing this is I came off the top here, so if the bees can't fit in the apiary, they're just going to continue on this way, and they're going to come down, and instead of hooking it up to the central line, I just went ahead and hooked them up on their own line. They come along the bottom here, so you can see the iron pipes forcing everything this way, and they come along and they hit the chest down here. And then the same thing happens over here. I covered it up a little bit, but you can see the same thing basically is happening over here. And they come down the line on this side, and then I have the crossover right here, which is why there's one cobblestone pipe down there, one stone pipe here, so the lines can cross without touching each other. And they'll hit the chest just fine. That way we have access to our bee stuff from our applied energy logistics terminal over there next to our tanks where we're going to be going. And actually really you don't even need the oil tank. I just like to see big tanks of fluid. So really you only need the one tank to hold the oil. Or sorry, you only need the one tank to hold the fuel. The oil will just stick inside the refineries when it's not being used. So now that we've gotten the piping all squared away, what we need to do now is we need to get a redstone engine and levers. So here's a lever, and we'll grab a redstone engine. And this is just a basic redstone engine. And you're going to have 3 wooden planks, 2 wooden gears, a piston, and a glass. So it's just wooden stuff. It's a wooden engine. Sticks for the gears. Like that. So, we're just going to drop one engine underneath of each wooden pipe. Won't take but a moment. Whoa. Right? So that'll pull everything out of the apiaries. And then we'll get our levers to turn these on. Now you got to be careful when you place these levers, because if you place the levers next to the iron pipes are set up so that when they receive a redstone signal, they switch which direction they're outputting to. And I'll just demonstrate that really quick here. So we're going to go here, here, and an iron pipe in the middle. And you can see that you wrench it, and let's say the clear side's that way, and the clear side's the direction that items filter through when they hit that pipe. And if every time it receives a redstone signal, watch the iron pipe. See, it switches, now it's facing a different way. Every time the redstone signal changes, the iron pipe will change directions. See that? You want to avoid that here because you don't want bees and honeycombs going up the wrong sides. So you only want the redstone signal to hit the engines and not the iron pipes. So if we put a redstone signal right here, for example, that should be for the lever right there. That should be fine let's watch these iron pipes. They're both pointing this direction. So let's watch and make sure that they don't suddenly switch when I turn this lever. Fantastic. Both those engines are on, and that is fine. There we go. So just put the lever in between every other one, and you should be perfectly good to go. There we go. Outstanding. Doing it this way makes it so that you can hit 2 engines with 1 lever, because you want these on all the time. There we go. Looking good to me. Let's cover this up a little bit here, make this look a little bit nice at least. I mean, I know there's really not a whole lot you can do unless you completely bury this somewhere, which you could do. I'm not going to do it, but hey, you know, whatever. Now we're going to go through here and we're going to put our bees in there so they can start breeding. Let's grab the bees, separate these guys out. I don't know why drones stack and princesses don't. That's kind of annoying. I mean, drones don't stack if they're bred differently. Obviously, if they have different traits, they won't stack. They have to be the exact same in order to stack. So even if they're the same race, if they don't have the same traits, they won't stack. But for the most part, they stack. So I think that it could be the same with the princesses. I mean, if they have the same traits and are the exact same, why wouldn't they stack? A little annoying. But luckily, the applied energistics chests do not care. They will stack anything in 1 slot, which is delicious. Makes storage so much simpler. There we go. Now our bees are perfectly breeding. Everything is perfectly happy. And actually, that doesn't look too bad now that I think about it. Now that I look at it, if these pipes were 1 lower and you could cover this up all the way along with dirt along the center here, that still wouldn't look too bad. You just have a little bit of pipe sticking out at the top, and that's not so bad. I actually don't mind that too much. A little bit it bothers me, but hey, not a big deal otherwise. Alright, so now that we got the bees finally sorted out, we're going to do the important part over here, and we are going to get the centrifuge here. And the centrifuge, what we're going to do is I'm going to get our access terminal really quick over here, and I'm going to grab one of our oily combs, right? And I'm going to tell this to export oily combs. And now it's going to fill up the oily combs into the centrifuge here. Look at that. Ha! And the export bus underneath, or the import bus rather, underneath, is pulling everything out of the centrifuge as it happens and putting it back into the system here. So we can see we are now getting oily propolis and honey drops. Look at that. And then we're going to come over here to the squeezer that we set up earlier. We're going to take its export bus and put oily propolis in there. And you're going to see it's going to fill up oily propolis into the squeezer. Look at that. And the squeezer is going to be filling up oil. When you squeeze an oily propolis, you get oil. And sometimes you get a propolis back. So the export bus underneath is going to pull out propolis and put it back in the system. But this way we're getting oil. And then all we have to do to get this oil here is we're going to put this oil into this tank. Like this. We get a lever to activate it. Pow! Look at that, oil tank. Just like that. So all that work over there with all those bees, they're making us oil. And the oil's getting fed into this tank now. How awesome is that? We've already got 3 buckets just off those couple of combs. And every time as those bees are breeding, every few seconds, basically, there's a chance to prop out one of these combs. So the more bees over there you have set up like that, the more combs you're going to get. And the more the merrier, as they say in party times at Christmas office parties, and also during orgies in that place in France where the naked ladies dance, and there's the hole in the wall where, you know, you can see it all. So, now what we need to do is make a refinery, like so. And you probably only need 1 to start with, but later on down the road you're probably going to add a couple more. Again, depending on how much oil you're getting from how many bees. We're only going to hook up one for right now, but I'm just showing you. You know, for example, you could do it this way. And we're going to wrench that, and we're going to hit that, and this is going to immediately come in here, and you can see that the oil is going to filter into the refinery. And the oil comes into these two sides in the back. So all the oil we've gotten so far is coming into this refinery. Refineries, by the way, I guess I should show you how to make them, because that's how this works. Recipe. 3 tanks, 2 redstone torches, and a diamond gear. 1 tank is just 8 glass. The diamond gear is going to be 4 diamonds around a gold gear, which is 4 gold around an iron gear, which is 4 irons around a stone gear, which is 4 stone or cobblestone around a wood gear, which is just 4 sticks. And that gets you your refinery. And then we're going to liquiduct over here as well. We're going to flick that on and wrench this. And that's going to drive my crazy OCD nuts, so I'm going to move this over here. There we go, that looks good. And this will pull any fuel out as the refinery goes. And now all we need left is power, and so I'm going to take a conduit. Oh, I already have a conduit in my inventory, so I'm going to grab this. And we're just going to run it over here. I think we'll just run it under the ground really quick. Because you know what, I like to hide things, as all of you have probably picked up by now. These conduits are nice because they can hook up to anything that takes buildcraft power, millijoules. Bonk. Look at that. Instantly, we have fuel refining. And it's coming right out of the liquiduct and straight into this fuel tank. Just cover this up. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You have instant sustainable oil. Something you never have to touch. This will just slowly fill up all by itself. Well, now that you've got it set up anyway, you don't have to touch it. This will fuel up all by itself. This tank will slowly fill up. And then it's going to head over there, from over there to over here, via our applied energistic system. And as those bees breed and produce more and more honeycombs, this will just continue to fill up. This eventually just going to have a freaking filled fuel tank, which will look totally sweet. That's all you need to do. And by all, I mean, of course, this hour-long project. So let me show you the actual power portion that I was going to show you here. Let's grab a couple more engines here. I'm going to grab us a biogas engine and a combustion engine. And as far as combustion engines go, we can take this here, we can take this fuel obviously, we can pipe this fuel into anything we want to. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, however many you want to make, really, it just depends. And you can set these combustion engines down here like so. And the combustion engine is just an iron engine. Like the redstone engine was just all wood, this is iron. So you get 3 iron up here, and the 2 diamond gears and the piston. You make yourself a piston and a couple of iron gears. That's all that is. And then the biogas engine is the exact same way, except for it's bronze gears and bronze. Okay? And then we make an aqueous accumulator, because these are combustion engines. They run off of fuel, but they have to be cooled. So you got to get some sort of cooling for it. And that's where we take our aqueous into use here. The aqueous, as you probably remember from a previous video, just makes water. And it's pretty easy to make as well. You grab your machine frame, your pneumatic servo, and a bucket. Pneumatic servo is 2 iron and a redstone and 2 glass, like so. Machine frame is a gold, 4 iron and 4 glass, like so. And then you get 2 tin and 2 glass, so it's not expensive at all. You could just pipe in water from anywhere you wanted to as well, not a big deal. And we're going to put water in here, and then we're going to put this down. And then we're going to get a liquiduct going. Got to wrench this to connect. There we go. Bury that so it looks nice and neat, and you got water coming into your engines here. And we're going to grab this, wrench that so that it points out, and now we have the fuel coming out to the engines. Look at that. So now we got fuel coming in. Fuel lasts way longer than oil does in these combustion engines. And then of course you can just put your levers on top, or your however you want to do it. You could set up like we did with the steam engines, so you can automatically detect the redstone cell to fill it up if you need to. But that's how you would make a combustion engine power grid. Eventually this will just all fill up on its own. What I like about this all is, like I was saying with the bees, it doesn't take a lot to get set up. This is a nice early game power form. So that's all you would need for that, right? Okay. So over here, what I wanted to do is show you guys as well the biogas engine for its power system. And it's really just going to look exactly like that, except for these need lava to fill up. These need lava to turn on. Like the combustion engines need water to cool, these need lava to heat up. But you don't need to continually fill them lava. Like those consume water slowly over the course of time. The biogas engines, they don't consume anything. They consume a little bit of lava to get hot, but they don't consume the lava after they're running. So if you're going to be running them all the time, you want to turn them on and off slowly. You'll have to feed them a constant source of lava. But let's say that we just want to throw some in there for now. Lava! Here's some lava cans. Let's just do that. That looks good. So we'll just throw a lava can in there. See that? Lava fills up. Lava fills up. That was the second one. Lava. Just a half a stack of lava cans will last you for a long time. Okay? And then you wrench this, and then it fills them up. And then biogas comes in here. You can see that it's running biofuel. It says empty because the lava engine isn't on right now, but that's all you would need to activate these as well. And you can make a giant power grid of these. Pretty much like a nice string of, like, I don't know, 9 to 12 of these would give you pretty much all the power you need. It's way more efficient to burn the biogas in the boiler to do the steam setup. Oh, am I going to crash? Oh, I'm going to crash. Ah, ha, 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 ha. It's way more efficient to burn those biogas in the steam engines, or in the boilers, to make steam for the steam engines. By the math, it's more efficient. However, it's also a lot less easy to control because the steam engine has to heat up and stay on. But anyway, you know what, guys? On that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video because that's pretty much the end of where I was at anyway. The biofuel system, as you saw with my tree farm that I set up in a previous episode, is really all you would need to make that biofuel. You just ferment them. But again, that's a lot of power draw. But you wouldn't need as many fermenters and stills in order to make biogas if all you were going was biogas engines. The boiler needs a lot of fuel, so you would need, that's why I had 4 fermenters and 8 stills, whereas the biogas engines, you could get away with only doing 1 of each on there, so you wouldn't need as much power. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. That's enough of that video. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here on this nice crashed shutting down internal server screen, and we'll pick up next time. I think next time I'm going to dive into a gigantic frame platform quarry for mining as fast as you possibly, well, not as fast as possible, but really fast, way faster than normal quarry can go. So that's my promise for next video for next time, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, well, I'd walk off into the sunset this time, but I apparently can't. So we will catch everybody next time. Take it easy. Have a good one.